two people being chased by the bear. You don't have to be the fastest runner. You just have to be faster than the other person so that you'll survive. And that's exactly the analogy here. When you first come up with the idea, you probably should do a provisional application as noted. Now, the quality of that provisional may be low because you just came up with the idea, so it might be very slim. But what you want to do is iterate on that. Sit down and think through what are the all possible implementations of this. On top of that, you want to think, are there any uses outside of your immediate use? So perhaps maybe if you thought of some idea in the educational space, are there applications of that in the banking space, for example? And then you also want to think about all possible ways of implementing this. And so by doing that, you have basically a 360-degree view of the invention, right? So you file out as a provisional, fairly inexpensive to get started. And then what happened is the next step is you're going to start looking for some angel investors. You're going to look for a co-founder. And so when you talk to those people, you eventually, and when you talk to customers also, you will then add some additional important concepts that's necessary to serve those customers. So you sit on it and you iterate for a few months, maybe 3 to 6 months, right? And by then you'll come up with a minimum viable product. And at that point, you might want to think very seriously about doing a formal patent application, because now you're getting very close. Maybe you're 90% of the way there. And so what happened is you should lock it in with a patent application, and that's roughly the 1-year time frame that we're talking about for converting from a provisional to a non-provisional, right? You will continue, at that point, you're probably going to be raising your seed round now, right? And of course, the more money you have, the more resource you're going to have, the more innovations you're going to come up with, because you're going to find all sorts of ways how you can do things better than the original solution that you came up with. So after a while, you continue this process, and then you finally launch the product. If you haven't done a non-provisional application by then, this is the time to do a non-provisional before you launch the product, because that is for sure something that's going to the market. It's stable, it's working, right?